In today's unfolding story, the cat belonging to this girl vanished, plunging her into a state of melancholy. Yet it is the subsequent events that promise to deeply touch your heart. The Stewart family was blessed with a delightful little girl named Ruby. Despite being only around 2 years old, she possessed a fearless spirit, especially when it came to animals. On numerous occasions, she would boldly approach large dogs at the park, much to her parents' concern. Yet, despite the potential for scary encounters, the dogs never showed aggression towards her. It was as if they sensed her genuine affection for them. Ruby's love for animals extended to all creatures, but she held a special fondness for cats. Every feline she encountered captivated her attention, prompting her to eagerly follow them wherever they roamed. Her attempts to hug and play with cats, though met with warnings from her parents about respecting their boundaries, never dampened her enthusiasm. Even when she received a minor scratch, Ruby remained undeterred, finding pure joy in interacting with her furry friends. This affection for animals wasn't a recent development for Ruby. Even as a baby, she displayed a natural curiosity and would eagerly crawl after any creature that caught her eye. Now, with her newfound ability to walk and run, her adventures among the animals had only intensified. Her parents started to think about getting her a small pet as a friend. Then one day, the family went to visit friends that lived on a farm. For baby Ruby, it was like a dream come true. There were animals everywhere. Ruby loved that. They had to keep a close eye on the toddler at all times. She just wanted to bolt and go up to any animal that she could get her hands on. She kept saying things like she wanted to go and pet the cows. They allowed her to feed some of the baby sheep, and they also allowed her to run around the yard. It was a really fun weekend, but there was one highlight that Ruby would remember for a very long time. The friends took her to a big barn next to the house. Inside the barn, they led her behind some straw and showed her something amazing. Lying in a corner was a mommy cat with 5 kittens. The kittens came up to them right away. They had their eyes open and were already balls of playful fluff, and they were ready to go to their forever homes. Ruby sat down on the floor, and all the kittens jumped on her right away. She giggled as they all played with her and tried to chew on her shoelaces and her clothing. After a while, most of the kittens got up and walked back to their mommy and fell asleep, but there was one of the cats, a little black and white kitten, that didn't go back to its mother. Instead, it curled up next to Ruby and fell asleep next to the little girl. They decided that this was Ruby's kitten that they would be taking home with them. The child and the kitten instantly had an incredible connection. It was strange for a cat, but she really adored her little human. They called the kitten Penny. Penny and Ruby would play for hours. She slept in Ruby's big girl bed, and the Stewart family never had any moments of worry about the cat doing anything to hurt their daughter. Both of them were still babies, but they learned to respect each other's boundaries. Now, instead of buying Ruby a lot of toys, they brought cat toys that could entertain both Ruby and Penny for many hours. One of the pair's favorite things was a long stick with a little fish on it that had catnip inside. Ruby would swing around the toy, and Penny would try to grab it. The cat would lie on her back, her stomach in the air, trying to grab the toy with her paws. It was awesome to hear Ruby laughing out of her tummy from the sheer joy of playing with her best friend. During the busy times and also the quiet times, the two of them were always together. It was great for the family. They had had Penny for more than a year when the family discovered that some big changes were coming. Lily, Ruby's mom, was expecting another baby. They didn't think they could have another one, so they were really excited to be expecting again. Ruby was going to be a big sister, but there was one big problem. They had a home that had no space for another person. They would have to get a bigger place. They didn't want to wait until Lily was too far along in her pregnancy before they moved. So as soon as they found what they were looking for, they got ready for the big move. They weren't going far. They would still live in the same suburb, just in a bigger house. The family got some advice on how to help Penny adapt to the move and her new home. They kept her inside a closed room for a few days, and then they eventually allowed her out. They did everything that they were told to, but still, the cat ran off the first chance that she got. They never knew why she ran away. Was there a loud noise that scared her? Did she just go off on a walk and get lost? They weren't sure, but what they did know was that she didn't come back. They went to look for her as soon as they realized that she was missing. They drove around their neighborhood and even went to their previous house, but they could not find Penny. It was starting to get late, and they had to get Ruby home. But when they tried to put her to sleep, she kept crying for Penny. She couldn't even remember the last time that she didn't have the cat with her at bedtime. It broke her parents' hearts. Eventually, she fell asleep from exhaustion because of all the crying. But as soon as she opened her eyes, she called for the cat. They tried their best, but they could not find the cat anywhere. Losing her cat had a massive impact on Ruby. Instead of the happy, outgoing little girl that she used to be, Ruby became withdrawn and sad. She seemed to be depressed, and her family did not know how to help her. She was always a tough toddler that rarely cried even when she got hurt, but now she cried for every little thing. As soon as one of her parents left the room, she would cry her eyes out. Ruby used to chat with everyone, but now she rarely spoke. She seemed to be regressing and losing her ability to have a lot of conversations. It was clear that she felt the trauma of the loss very deeply. Her parents did not know what they could do for their baby as she was hurting, but not able to express her thoughts. After a while, they were sure that they would not get Penny back. That was when some family members suggested that they might need to adopt another cat to comfort Ruby. Ruby did have a really special relationship with Penny, so her parents weren't sure that they could ever replace the cat, but it was worth a shot. Besides, Lily and Steven enjoyed having a pet in the house. They missed having Penny around, but didn't want to wait until after the baby was born to get another pet. They wanted the cat to settle in before they had the baby. On Saturday morning, the family made their way to the shelter to browse the available cats. While the shelter housed numerous adult cats, there were no kittens to be found. Determined to find a feline companion, they allowed Ruby to interact with the cats and choose one for herself. In the visiting room, Ruby observed several cats without displaying much excitement. Just as they were beginning to lose hope, a heartwarming moment unfolded. Suddenly, Ruby sat up and began to cry out for Penny. To their surprise, the next cat brought in was Penny herself. Someone had found and brought her to the shelter. Ruby wasn't the only one overjoyed by the reunion. Penny leaped from the lady's arms and dashed to Ruby, rubbing against her affectionately and purring loudly. Clearly, Penny had missed her little human too. With emotions running high, they ensured Penny's safety by microchipping her before taking her back home. From that day onward, Penny lived out her days with the family, bringing joy and companionship to all. I hope you liked this story. Please give it a thumbs up and share it with your loved ones. Also subscribe and press the bell icon to never miss the update from our channel. Thank you.